How much does it cost to sell land in Georgia? Hey guys, this is Brad from NorthGeorgiaLandBuyers.com and Arborview Properties. North Georgia Land Buyers, we're actually a real estate investor and developer. We buy properties all over the state of Georgia, not just in North Georgia. I've been in this business for a long time, done a lot of different types of deals, and I'm here to talk about, based on my experience, kind of answer some of your questions in regards to land. So how much does it cost to sell land? Well, it depends on how you're selling it, right? You could maybe spend nothing, but the reality is you're probably going to spend some money. So let's talk about that. So if you are selling with a real estate agent or a broker, you're typically going to have the commission that you owe them, right? You're going to owe them some sort of commission, and they may or may not be sharing some commission with a cooperating broker. It just depends on whether you guys opt to do that. It's pretty common to do that, although with the recent NAR settlement, it does kind of muddy the waters a little bit in that world. So anyways, you would have a commission to the broker. All commission is negotiable, right? So I don't want to tell you a set percentage, but typically it could be anywhere from 5 to 10% total between both parties. Now, you may not have to buy any or do any buyer's agent commission at all, in which case that might lower your commission that you'd have out of your pocket. Either way, the reality is this: someone is paying for it. So it always cracks me up with these NAR settlements, and they're like, oh, well, It's like, well, the buyer was always paying the commission anyways, because they're the one cutting a check for the amount of the property, right? Yeah, does the commission come out of the seller's side of the settlement statement? Yes. But the reality is the buyer is paying for it. They're sending, $200,000 or borrowing, $200,000 for this property, right? It's baked into the price. So I always thought that whole argument was kind of funny. But either way, you're going to have other costs too. Like if you have to get a survey done on the property, which I would advise you that if you're selling a piece of property, it's generally a good idea to get a survey. Now, you may be able to get the buyer to do a survey in some circumstances, but in many cases, it's actually not a bad idea to at least have an updated survey. Maybe if it's 10 years old, that's fine. But you do need to have some recent survey available. And then you might have other costs involved. Whether you want to get an appraisal on the land, might not be a bad idea to get an appraisal on it to see what it's worth. Make sure that you're getting an appraiser who really kind of works in the world of land, not just some random appraiser that might do like single family homes on a regular basis. You want someone who understands the value of land. Also, and in terms of the closing, you are going to have probably some settlement costs. There might be some fees to the attorney. Usually the buyers are paying most of the closing costs in terms of selling a property, but there still are some settlement fees. There's transfer taxes and that sort of thing. So make sure that you ask the closing attorney, title company about that. They'll be able to kind of tell you how much those costs might be. May not be a bad idea to call them ahead of time and just kind of ask them, hey, I'm selling this piece of land. It's probably going to sell for X amount of money. What am I looking at in terms of, what it might cost me to sell it? There might be some fees involved in that side. So it's hard to give, I don't want to give exact numbers on this particular video because the numbers vary greatly. But those are the costs that are going to be involved. Also, depending on the broker, some brokers might actually have you pay for some of the signs and the verbiage up front, or give some sort of deposit to reimburse them, because selling land takes a lot longer than selling just like a normal house. Land is a whole different animal, and it takes longer because there's a whole lot less people buying land than there are buying just single family houses, right? And depending on the parcel of land and depending on the piece of land that you have, may take a lot longer to sell. Also, making sure that it's priced right. I mentioned this in other videos, but you have to price things right. This doesn't just apply to land. This applies to houses too. If you are overpriced, you will not sell your property, period. Let me repeat that. If you are overpriced, you will not sell your property. I can go post my house that I live in for $10 million. My house is not worth $10 million. I could go list it for $10 million, but nobody in their right mind is going to pay me $10 million for my house. The reality is someone's only going to pay for my house what they think it's worth. Now, could I find some random person who might decide that they would be willing to pay me $10 million for my house? Sure. Anything's possible, right? But we got to be like realistic here and talk about likelihood And the likelihood is most people aren't going to pay me $10 million for my house. So it's going to sell for what the market is going to bear. So it's also a good gauge whether you're selling a piece of land or selling like our house. And if you know that the average days on market for your property is X, and your property has been on the market for more than those average days on market, I would be willing to bet you money, a lot of money, that you are overpriced on your property. You need to lower your price. And so many times I have seen people blame it on the real estate agent or the broker and say, my broker's lazy or whatever. They may be lazy, right? But 9 times out of 10 in those scenarios, the reason the property has not sold is because it's overpriced. And some people just get blinders on and they don't want to listen to the broker who is the expert, who's done way more land deals in their life than the seller has ever done in their life and knows way more about this world, and says, yeah, Mr. Seller, I mean, we could list it for your price, but I think the best sales price is going to be X, right? And then if you want to sell something fast, it's actually better to price it lower than it is to price it higher. The market's changed a lot. So understanding who your market is, right? So let's back up here. Let's say you're selling the property by yourself. You're not employing a broker or an agent. Well, you're going to have costs in terms of marketing this property, your time. Maybe you're going to get some signs printed out and put some signs out there. You're going to have to put signs out advertising the property for sale. You're going to want to maybe post it in a bunch of different groups, and that takes time. And your time is money, right? So what is that worth to you? You need to figure all that out. So those are some of the costs kind of built into selling a piece of land in Georgia. If you have a property that you are interested in selling and you'd like to get an offer from us on the property, we'd love to make you an offer on it. You can go over to northgeorgialandbuyers.com and fill out the form there. Or like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm actually a licensed real estate agent in the state of Georgia. I'm with One Source out of Woodstock. Be happy to, talk to you about listing the property if you wanted to go that route. But if you just want a cash offer on it, you want to sell that land, you want to sell it quick, we'd be happy to make you an offer on that property. So thanks for watching this video. If you want to go over to our YouTube channel, there's a playlist for land, North Georgia Land Buyers, or you can go to northgeorgialandbuyers.com. There's a whole bunch of videos there. Check out those videos. There might be answers to some of the other questions you might have related to land. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm Brad. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.